Today we are making scallion pancake tacos. Chinese restaurants typically serve scallion pancakes as a mere side dish. They are cut into wedges and dipped in a vinegary sauce. I figured they are capable of so much more. By leaving them whole, they can become the base for an incredible Chinese taco experience. For the filling, we are using Char Siu Pork, a Cabbage slaw, and a Chinese barbecue sauce. However, any medley of your favorite Chinese takeout foods can be used for this. For the pancakes, we'll be using a recipe from J. Kenji Lopez Alt. Let's get to it. Set a pot or electric kettle of water on the boil. Then whisk together 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of MSG in your bowl with a damp towel wrapped around it. This will prevent the bowl from moving while you stir. Once the water is boiling, carefully measure out 1 cup and slowly drizzle into the flour while mixing. Continue to mix until it comes together into a sticky dough and turn it out onto a floured work surface. Hot water doughs are also used to make dumpling wrappers and flour tortillas because it prevents gluten development by smashing the proteins into small pieces rather than forming a stretchy gluten network. This gives you a dough that is extremely easy to work with and roll out while providing a great chew. Knead for a few minutes until a smooth ball is formed, making sure to give it a few slaps when you're done. Wrap it in plastic wrap and allow it to rest at room temperature for 45 minutes to an hour. For the Chinese cabbage slaw, grate half a head of green cabbage, half a head of purple cabbage, and a large carrot on the biggest holes of a box grater. Then add all of this to a bowl and add a tablespoon of salt, 1/4 cup of rice vinegar, a teaspoon of sesame oil, a tablespoon of sriracha, a teaspoon of black pepper, and we missed the filming of it, but also add 1 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice, a tablespoon of white sugar, and a tablespoon of soy sauce. Season to taste with salt and pepper, cover with plastic wrap, and place in the fridge until it is time to serve. In a small saucepan, heat up 1 tablespoon of sesame oil and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil over medium heat. While that is heating, we'll grate 4 cloves of garlic and a 1-inch knob of ginger to infuse into the oil. For the ginger, either de-skin it with a spoon. You can do my preferred method, which is just slicing off the skin with a sharp knife. When grating garlic, there's no need to peel it as the skin will stay behind on the grater. Place your grated ginger and garlic in a bowl, then once hot, pour over that sesame oil, stir, and set aside until later. This will smell amazing. As the name suggests, for scallion pancakes, we are going to need a ton of scallions. Finely slice 8 scallions, adding the whites to your slaw because you forgot to do so earlier. Then, as thin as you can, slice the greens and then set them aside in a bowl for the pancakes as well as to garnish at the end. Weigh your dough into 6 perfectly even pieces. Just kidding, we'll just eyeball it with a good old cut in half, then cut those halves into thirds with a well-floured bench scraper or knife. Roll the pieces of dough into smooth balls and set aside under plastic wrap to keep them from drying out. Using a vodka bottle of your choice, roll out the balls into 4-inch discs on a lightly floured work surface. Realize the bottle is fresh out of the freezer and covered in condensation, and liberally flour that as well. Once rolled out, using a pastry brush, paint a very thin layer of that infused sesame oil all over the disc. Roll it up as tightly as possible like a cigar or something similar, and you can see it here. I used a little too much oil and some squeezed out, so just make sure it's a very thin layer of oil. Then roll one side of the cigar shape into itself, making a spiral, and tuck the end of the spiral underneath. This is where all those flaky layers are formed via the process of lamination. Lamination means building microscopically thin layers of dough and separating them with equally thin layers of fat. As the pancake cooks, water vapor from the dough expands, causing the layers to separate slightly, creating the flaky, tender structure of scallion pancakes. Re-roll out your dough and paint it again with a thin layer of that oil. But this time sprinkle with scallions in a nice even layer. Like before, roll it up into a cigar shape. It's fine if some of the scallions start to poke through. We can fix this when we do the final rollout of the dough. Also, like before, roll one side of the cigar shape into itself into a spiral, tucking the end underneath. Then flatten this disc out into the desired pancake size and set aside until later. Once you've completed one, realize that this is gonna take a long time and we are hungry, so recruit a roommate/cameraman to repeat with all 6 balls of dough. Get a cast iron skillet hot over medium heat with a splash of vegetable oil, then lay in your pancake and cook about 2 minutes per side or until golden brown, constantly moving it around the pan to ensure even cooking. Transfer to a rim baking sheet and season both sides with salt while still warm. Cover and keep warm in a low oven. For the meat in our taco, we are using an adaptation of Joshua Weissman's Char Siu Pork recipe. Video for that coming soon. Chop your pork into small taco-sized cubes. To assemble, lay down one of your beautiful scallion pancakes. Put down a layer of that tangy cabbage slaw that has quick pickled oh so nicely in the fridge, then a generous helping of your char siu pork, and a nice squirt of Chinese barbecue sauce. Recipe for that also coming soon. Garnish with sesame seeds and sliced scallion greens. Quickly move apartments and bada boom! Your scallion pancakes are done. These things are delicious, filling, and the contrast between rich pancake, tangy slaw, and savory pork lead to a great bite. Next time you get takeout, see if they'll leave the pancakes whole, and if not, you can make them yourself now. And that is it. As always, the full recipe and ingredient list are in the description down below, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Yeah. Happy first day of being a vegetarian, Joey. Thanks, Joey.
This is your first day of being a vegetarian?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No.
Wow. God damn. You did it again. Sexy.